Hi, I'm Grimm Dupp, and this is Gussy Dupp, and we are Coven Dupp of Gussy and Grimm. No, that was stupid.
Let's try that again.
Hi.
Take two.
Take two. We can cut that part out, right?
Yeah. I hope so.
3, 2, 1. Hi, I'm Grimm Dupp.
And I'm Gussy Dupp. We are the high priest and priestess of Coven Dupp, which is our coven of witches, collection of witches that we have convened with throughout the country. And
we travel around in a 38-foot long green school bus that's been converted into a motorhome, and literally try and meet as many people as we can that experience paranormal phenomenon in their life, learn their stories, as well as the story that led up to the paranormal activity that they're dealing with.
Right. And it's my role as high priestess, I often will communicate with the spirits on the other side. I work as a psychopomp. A lot of people need to look that word up. So I'll give you a moment. But what we really focus on is working with people and their ancestral trauma to try to heal some of the patterns and past life issues that have come forward in this lifetime that affect us now. Mm-hmm. And that's a concept that not everyone really understands fully yet, but we'd love to sit and talk to you about it sometime.
And as high priest of our coven, it's my goal and my responsibility to be as spiritually accurate as I can when dealing with not just our coven, but as well as the general public on a whole. Authenticity, right. I think, is what really means the most to us.
Right. We're very invested in hours and hours of research, also trusting our own intuition and focusing on the magic of the area that we're working in. So particularly if we're talking about Kentucky, there is all kinds of Appalachian magic in the hills and hollers of that state. And we're really excited about kind of getting into some of the nitty-gritty of that.
And so where Gussy works with the spirits of the of folks that we work with in our community, I also work with the spirits that inhabit the buildings and the structures and the locations. And between the two of us, what we attempt to do is open a portal to the past to expose it to the future and move it forward in a way that is more, what would you say, beneficial?
Struggling for the word there?
Struggling for the word. Beneficial to all of those involved. We conduct seances. We do special tarot readings. We do ancestral work, like Gussy was saying.
Mm-hmm. Tea leaf readings.
Tea leaf readings. But the overall goal that we have is to help people cleanse themselves of the trauma that is in their hearts, their minds, and their souls. Now, how does that play into people of the past, folks that have already passed, folks that have met a traumatic end? Well, we can still speak with them as well. We can still bring them forward and hopefully bring them closure as well. I'm going to give it a break here. We're going to cut this part out.
Okay.
I didn't like how that sounded.
In creating a ritual or some type of ceremony for the space at Bobby Mackey's, we would imagine that we will start off with collecting some graveyard dirt from Carl's graveyard, his grave site. Mm-hmm. If not his actual grave site, and trust me, we've been doing this a long time, so we have our ways of obtaining that dirt. But if need be, we can do it at a crossroads nearby the cemetery. Mm-hmm. That will be an integral part of what we do, because we would like to call on his energy to help guide us toward what we need to know, whether mm-hmm. it is that we are definitely contacting a demon that is in that space, or a collection of just negative energies that have been held within that building for
Right.
so long. I mean, it was a slaughterhouse at one point, and that in and of itself creates its own like vibrational frequency. So really interested in kind of getting into the nitty gritty with that.
And above, and more than just the graveyard too, there's other implements that we can bring into this seance to help, I can't say guarantee a calling for an outcome,
right.
a spirit coming forward, a demon coming forward. But our goal is to utilize the tools, the items that might be familiar to Pearl, to Charlie, basically any of the spirits or demonic entities that inhabit that space. So we're going to work a little bit in what some consider the dark arts. We call it blood magic, and that's not necessarily a dark thing. We will use the blood to open a portal to enhance our magics. And Gussy, like she said, is going to want to use the land's magic, what is native to that region, or magic that has been utilized in that location for generations. And that's where that old deep back road, back in the holler magic comes from.
Right, because we're talking about a convergence of not only Irish, Scots, and some German influence, but also the indigenous tribes that lived in that area. And it is a real amalgamation of practices and theories when it comes to magic. Now, for us, we don't consider it dark or satanic or evil magic. Magic is magic. It's how we use it. It's how we transmute it or manifest. Right. And so we could employ blood if you would prefer that. We could use wine in its placement. There are many ways to go about that. We've also been thinking about using cascarilla powder, which is eggshell powder, which would represent not only some protection, which we'll need to do some heavy protection spells and sigils before we even start so that our whole team is safe. None of us want to have a negative energy attached to us.
We don't want to go through an exorcism.
No, we don't want to have another reason for another exorcism. But also the eggshell representing fertility, new life, and
protection.
So giving a nod toward Pearl's delicate condition that she was in when she did lose her life.
And with that delicate position, I like the way that sounds, the delicate
position.
Condition, the delicate condition. With that, knowing that she was pregnant and originally seeking an abortion, we feel, at least I feel, a need to pay homage to that. She was seeking something that wasn't legally available at the time in her community. And through the Satanist connection, there are rituals that involve abortion. So what we would like to discover is if that was the intent of the two gentlemen that took her life.
Right, and I guess there's no real way of knowing, and it's not like they would admit it when they were standing in jail. Oh yes, well I contacted some Satanists, or that isn't something that would be spoken of. But in the 1800s, late 1800s, it was a very I don't want to say popular, but
well, spiritualism on a whole was extremely popular in the late 1890s.
Right, but Satanism itself
had an underflow in there as well. And that is an energy that we will want to tap into, because that was the energy that we think might have contributed to her ultimate demise. Knowing that there are rituals that are wrapped up in Satanism and abortion, knowing that the energy that she felt upon her passing is what she carries into her afterlife, and knowing that she was decapitated while still alive would tell me that her emotional state when she was removed from this world was very traumatic.
Right.
And that is an energy that we're going to attempt to tap into to bring her forth, or whatever that demon, that entity is that is residing within the building.
It very well may be, just like we've encountered a number of these throughout the country. The location itself is most likely a portal. And that's why she's drawn to that space too. Whether her head was thrown down the well or not, I guess we don't know that information, but there would be reason to believe that it is something that her spirit would be drawn to if she's unsettled and still walking the earth and
Mhm.
angry, and hurt and scared. So it will be really interesting to kind of get into that understanding of where she came from. Also, incidentally, knowing that there's heavy Christianity involved in that part of the country as well. There's an interesting connection to the Saint Margaret, who isn't someone that a lot of us really discuss anymore, but Saint Margaret is a patron saint of young mothers and children, and she was actually decapitated herself. She was beheaded, and there's a whole side of that aspect where, you know, menstrual blood, blood from a pregnancy, those all carry heavy weights in the magical and occult world as well.
Mhm.
So those are things that we'd like to explore.
I think that pretty much covers.
We sound creepy.
Blood must have some blood.
No, but we look forward to working with you guys, and hope that this could work out. And I'm kind of struggling for words here. Help me out, Grimm.
I'm gonna let it rest for a second. So in a nutshell, what we would like to do is open a portal to that demonic energy, that demonic realm that supposedly has infested itself into that building in that location. And through that experience, through contacting that demonic realm, maybe learn some answers that have gone long unanswered.
And long disputed. I know there's a lot of people on both sides of the camp sort of arguing about what happened to her,
Mhm.
what happened at Bobby Mackey's in the first place. And I think that we can get a better handle on it through a seance and or other paranormal research and investigation.
So thank you for your time, and we hope to work with you in the near future. Again, we're Gussy and Grimm.
Stay magical.
Silver shoes. I can't do it. You say stay magical. Did I stop?
No.